Hey, it's Mark from MakeTheMostOfMassage.com. And today I have with me Dr. Ken Martz. He wrote this book, Manage My Emotions. He's a psychologist of 25 years. He's written a lot of papers. This book in particular, I really like. It's been really helpful to me. I'm a DIY person, and there's definitely a lot of information in here that helped me with not only relationship things, but with work too. Yeah, matching my emotions is not necessarily my strong suit. So this is an appropriate book for me. And today I have Dr. Ken Martz on our show because we want to talk about meditation. We had talked about just stress and things like that, and he gave some really good tips about relieving stress. But I was particularly interested in the meditation part, which we just touched upon before. And specifically, first of all, maybe could you just give us just a brief overview of like what meditation encompasses? I know it covers a bunch of different things, but if you give us an idea of like in general meditation, and then we'll apply it to massage itself.
Sure. So first off, thank you. Glad to be here, and always happy to talk about this stuff. I enjoy it. I've been practicing meditation for about 25 years now. And it's really become just a really valuable part of my life. It is one of those things out there that is sometimes misunderstood. It's like people sometimes think like, I can't do that. That's for those people out there that like sit in lotus position and don't move for hours on end. And it's like, no, that's not, it. And so that's one of the things that is often a big misconception. It's like I can't do that, or I'm not good enough. I tried it and it didn't work for me. So, really just trying to settle down to, if you can sit and watch TV for 20 minutes, you can have a seat on your couch or your cushion or lay down and just be still for a few minutes and breathe. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I don't know if I can do it.
So that's part of the practice. You can, there'll be mental chatter in there and stuff that goes on, but just kind of hang out. Have a cup of coffee, watch the birds. Watch the ocean. Listen to your music, etc. So just find a way to get comfy for a little bit and relax a few minutes. It doesn't have to be intense and detailed, although when you get inside, there's details that we could kind of nuance over time. But by and large, it's kind of like a snow globe. Just be still, and it'll start to settle down on its own a little bit over time.
So is that like sort of the preliminary part of meditation? Because is there? I mean, the goal to meditate probably is like self-defeating, right? It's like, I mean, if you set the goal to I'm going to meditate, it's probably you've set yourself up for oppositional kind of things and potential failure and struggle in your brain and all that stuff.
Well, it's a tricky question, and which is a funny story, and I try to not always talk in research terms all the time, but there's a study out there.
Okay.
And there's studies out there that will say that meditation is awesome for helping the body, for easing muscle tension, for reducing stress, for reducing like a dozen major markers of aging, from cortisol and hormones, et cetera, to other things like relationships and business and concentration and applications all the way throughout, even weight loss. Been found to be effective across a wide range. One of the studies that kind of strikes me in answer to your question is a study on cholesterol. And so the people that meditated to reduce their cholesterol did not go down. The people who just meditated, their cholesterol went down. So it's a tricky, so when you say, what are you trying to do? Just sit and relax and all the benefits will come. You don't have to, I go back to my snow globe image a lot, and it's kind of like sitting there saying, relax, 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 relax,
Right.
relax.
Right.
I can't force myself to relax. It's a practice of letting go, and the relaxation will come to you. If you stop forcing it, the benefits just start flowing in, across the range.
Yeah, so that study really resonates with me because you can really it has teeth. It's like, okay, so if you're not focusing on like reducing your cholesterol and you're just relaxing, the natural physiological things are happening, and you're going to have this byproduct cholesterol lowering kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah,
it takes the stress out of it right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just relax, no effort, just breathe. I'm just gonna go breathe for a little bit. I can do that.
Right.
So
then you go, you sit, you breathe. You don't have to get in lotus position. You can just sit on the couch or something comfortable. And once you do that, then what? I know that could be 1,000 different things. There's all different types of meditation, but just in general, like for someone, a novice.
Well, from the next steps is all sorts of thoughts are going to start creeping in, and just notice them and let them pass on by, and then you're going to get caught up in it anyway, because it's like, I can't believe so-and-so said such and such. And then they always talk like this. And you see the mind circuits going into that little chatter, and then my loved one did this again. And so you just notice that phrase and you just let it go on by and say, oh yeah, no, I'm just going to breathe. It's kind of like if you're watching TV and all of a sudden you realize you're watching the horror channel and you're scared.
Yeah.
Well, all you have to do is change the channel. It's not hard. The hard part is I don't realize that I'm watching TV. I just go along with the train of the thoughts.
Right.
Once I recognize that I'm just having that train of thoughts, it's easy to change the channel.
Right.
So, and that's just your practice in your meditation is I sit down, relax, I breathe a little bit, thoughts will happen.
Right. So how long does it usually take before you can sort of, change the channel, turn off the TV kind of thing?
So it's kind of like any other practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the amount of effort and time that you put into it is how quickly you'll develop that skill. It's kind of like if I go to the gym and I do some curls, the more I do, the more weights I do, the more practice I do, the more frequently I do, the faster I'm going to get that strength to develop.
Right.
If I keep practicing, it will work. It will absolutely work if you just kind of put in the time and support.
Right.
And you'll notice it even in a few minutes, but you'll get more and more practiced at it over time.
Okay. So we sit down, we relax, we have no goal but to watch, we breathe, and then what? We reach nirvana, or what's the next? I mean,
just relax and breathe.
Okay. Relax and breathe.
So it's kind of like if I went all through the day and my thinking got all cloudy for the 1,000 things that I was worrying about all day long, and then I sit down and I, let the snow globe clear, and now all of a sudden I can think a little more clearly. So now my client walks in the door and I'm stressed like a snow globe.
Right.
And how am I going to respond to them, and how are they going to respond to me? And what's their experience going to be like? And are they going to be wanting to come back to my next massage after having been around me in my snow globe?
Right.
Versus if I meditate for a couple of minutes and I have that nice, calm, quiet snow globe for a moment, what's that experience going to be like for them? How likely are they going to be to pick up on that, de-stress, and be willing to come back, be interested in coming back again, even if they can't articulate it?
Right. So, you're going to see one of my flaws or characteristics that how you can determine how you want to determine that. But so I'm thinking, okay, well, does that mean I have to do it before each massage? Or like if I do it before the massage day, I go in, you know what I mean? And then is there like at some point some kind of trigger that just, I don't, I sort of get that, okay, so I relax myself, I cleared my mind, did the first massage, and then maybe there's a trigger during the massage that last time you gave us the technique of like, start noticing objects in the room, like red objects in the room, and then you brought it internally, bring it into your inside. Do you have to go through that whole process, or will there be some kind of automatic kind of, shortcut into that?
The more you practice it, the more that feeling becomes familiar, the more you can kind of just drop back down into it.
Okay.
You realize that you're there.
Yeah.
So even if I'm practicing in the morning, as I develop that skill, I can bring that skill with me throughout the day whenever I recognize that I'm off my center.
Okay.
So yes, you could do it just during the beginning of the day. You could do it for a moment or 2 or 3 or 2 minutes before an individual massage. I'm just going to clear my mind for a moment so I can go fully meet the next person. Or even while you're doing a massage, so instead of focusing on your breathing, focus on the tension, the pressure levels, the connection, the listening aspect, trying to feel out where there's tensions. So you're bringing your attention, you're still practicing meditation through an awareness of touch rather than awareness of the breath in this case.
That makes sense. Yeah,
so you can apply the same skill, you're just using a different point of focus.
Yeah, I think a lot of us massage therapists would just second that, because there is sort of this meditative component of, I just call it, that there's a feedback loop. When I relax the client relaxes me, and vice versa. Like, I feel that there's that going on constantly. Yeah. And for me, the more I get jittery, or the more I'm thinking, the slower I go. Like, there's this, for me, the response is, we'll go slower, move slower. If you think if you're rushing through the massage, or if you look up at the clock and there's 5 minutes left to do like a leg, you missed the leg, then it's like, okay, we'll just go slower and make, 5 good strokes rather than 20 rapid strokes. But that has that sort of meditative quality to me.
Well, and probably a simple example that'll make, if I'm sitting on the couch and watching TV while massaging my wife's foot, it's going to be a very different experience than if I'm actually turn off the TV and attend to her directly and pay attention to the connection and the sensations.
Right.
There's just bringing awareness to what we do anywhere in life, bringing increased concentration to anything we do, whether it's our relationships and bringing a little bit more of that centered, de-stressed attitude rather than the snow globe, moment, or just being fully present. How you talk to somebody and it's like, wow, they were really listening to me, versus that person that's clearly distracted and not listening at all.
Right.
So we can pick up on those feelings, and meditation is one way to kind of draw into that. Okay, I'm just going to let the other stuff go and listen to you for the moment, and pay attention here for the moment. And I'll get to that other stuff later.
Right. So there's like that segue where you tell yourself, I'll get to the other stuff later. Like, yeah. I promise we'll cover that later.
Yes. Okay. I'll mark my to-do list, and it'll be there for me. I'm not going to forget about it.
Right.
But for right now, my practice is being here with my client.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. So I went through your first module of the meditation module, and some of this stuff intrigued me, that sort of brought out my biases about meditation. Mm-hmm. And one was when there's like this list of things you could choose from, like, what do you want to get out of the massage or the meditation, or I'm not sure exactly if that was the wording.
Right.
But one of them was, I think, financial prosperity. And I looked at that, I checked the box and I unchecked it. Checked the box and I unchecked it. I kept going back and forth. I was like, oh, screw it, I'm going to check it, right? Because I didn't know what the heck was going to happen, right? Like, what's your next thing going to be? Like, what are you going to dump me in this thing where it was like, no, you're done with your meditation, get out, right?
Yeah.
So I was looking at that and I was like, well, that's a really interesting reaction I had, because, to me, like, I think meditation, I think of people more on a spiritual quest. I think of people more about selflessness, more about like this kind of enlightenment, And I was like, financial prosperity, how does it fit in enlightenment? I don't know, but I want to check that box because, I'm really interested in having Dr. Martz make me a billionaire through meditation. And we all are, right? All the massage therapists out there are really interested in being a billionaire, and you're going to help us. Or explain why that's flawed thinking.
Well, a billionaire is a little far off, but so for example,
Yeah.
I know exactly what page you're talking about, and the question really is getting at what drew you here, and kind of like the cholesterol example. If you're trying to sit and meditate to suddenly get $1 million, it may not happen. It's just like relax.
Right.
However, if you do your meditation and you start to get focused and you start to get present, all those other things start to just come in. So if I'm a calm and relaxed, centered experience when I answer the phone, when I greet the client at the door, when I'm present for them through the massage, whatever my business is, I'm just giving the massage example, isn't that going to bring a little bit more likelihood that they're going to tell their friend that, hey, I just had this great massage. This is a really nice guy. I just walked in and I just felt calm and relaxed, and I just wanted to like go back and be in that space again because it was just the environment and the massage and the genuineness. That's kind of what I want to be around. Okay. So, and the same thing with if I got another job and I'm doing office work and I'm busy, by helping my concentration, I'm going to make fewer mistakes. What happens when you make fewer mistakes? Your boss likes you.
Right.
Maybe get a raise, maybe get a promotion over time. Does that happen in 30 seconds? No. But as we continue to grow ourselves, promotions happen because we're bringing improved quality to the table.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I can totally relate to that. Like, when I look at what built my business, and it wasn't one thing in particular, it was all these things that coalesced, but underlying all that was attention to the client.
Yep.
I can't say my wife put the attention to detail in the things we do in our business. I'm not a detail person, but it was that focus, the focus on them, the focus on, and I can see how, like in meditation, if you have a clear mind, if you come away with, a calm mind, how that can really benefit you in business and in life in general. I have an example of like a not calm mind. I recently, my wife and I I was getting new glasses, right? So she didn't trust me. So, and I wouldn't trust me either, because years ago, I picked out these really glasses that did not work for me. But anyway, so we go there and, get glasses, everything's pretty good. And we look out, and it was like a week and a half ago when that snowstorm hit. And like, I didn't know it was going to snow, right? I don't want snow. I'm over with snow. We're done. I don't want to look at the weather. So all of a sudden we got like 4 inches down and we got to drive home. I was like, okay, that's a little stressful. But then I get in the car, turn it on. It's my mom's car. So I inherited from her. I call it the Mommobile. So I get in the Mommobile, and the Mommobile says, power system problem. Like I turn it on, but these lights come on. It's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And it's like, and then the voltage battery thing comes on. I'm like, okay, we're driving. So we start driving. As we're driving through the snowstorm, and we're going very slow, and we see a truck in front of us almost wipe out. All of a sudden it starts saying what it's shutting down, because it's trying to conserving power. So all of a sudden ABS shut down. Like, well, ABS is sort of important when you're driving in a snowstorm, right? And you need to stop. Yeah. So like all these things are shutting down, and I'm not doing so well. Like I'm starting to like lose it, because my old glasses, I can't really see that well, and then every time something shuts down, I start to freak out a little more, right? My wife's over there trying to maintain calm, like trying to give me some calm, and everything I just gets worse and worse and worse, and to the point where, did you ever see like the movie Airplane?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So when the person's like freaking out in the plane, everyone lines up and starts doing their own version of that person's quiet, right? Yeah. So My wife didn't physically do that, but mentally did that to me, right? So I finally held together, you know what I mean? We made it to the Wawa and everything was, but that was just reminded me of the time, like, you know, it would have been really nice to have a calm mind. Like, it would have been really nice to be able to pull that meditative mind and say, hey, look, this is a situation. This is what we got to do. If this happens, this is plan B, you know what I mean? You know, and just to carry on like that. And I think in life, it's sometimes more subtle than that, where you may not be like, it may not be like dire straits where you're like, oh my God, we're going to go outside the road. But it may be more like, I'm running around, I can't get anything done. I've got this project started. Oh my God, now I got income taxes due. You know, I spent that money on it. But if we could just sort of like, okay, this is stay focused and, you know, move into what we need to do, no matter what's going on, I think that would be a very helpful thing to do. So make me like that.
So I can't make anything.
Okay.
However, if you happen to meditate regularly, all these things just start to happen. So not by being made that way, but they just start to happen. So what would happen if I started to practice being calm and I got better at being calm? And so my, you know, if I had a chart with me, I could draw a little, you know, over the course of the day that the anxiety goes up and down.
Right.
Well, what if I just lowered that whole thing down one level? Still have a range of feelings over the course of the day, but the highs don't get quite so stressed.
I think that's a great graph because, you know, in my mind, meditation was a flat line. And who wants to live life like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, it would have been like, you're so calm and cool, but you're just saying lower the overall intensity, and then, but you're still going to have your emotions, basically.
Oh gosh, yeah. You'll still have emotions. You still have, in some ways, you may experience them more fully. So for example, if I'm eating ice cream while watching TV, going back to that example, I can eat the whole ice cream and not even taste it.
Right.
You know, but do you stop for a moment and just see what it tastes like? You know, if you go and do an ice cream tasting, you actually stop and taste the ice creams. You know what I mean? So you might actually experience a fuller range of emotion and experience, even though it's not quite so anxiety intense.
Right.
You know, but it may be more rich and more full of an experience.
Right. I took this, it made me think of this well-being class I took when I was like young, like many, many, many moons ago. And I remember the teacher, he's also a yoga instructor who had his teacher was in India, and he was, you know, he was into it, let's just say that. But it was an experience of like, you know, the raisin. You take the raisin and you don't chew it up and swallow it. It's about 5 minutes in your mouth, and you're going through all the different tastes. And it was fascinating just experiencing that and being like, wow, I'm really not aware of 99% of my life. It just sort of goes by, you know. But yeah, no, I think that has tremendous value. So what can we do? What can, like, as massage therapists for like daily life, for a business, like, just give us that beginning step of getting this calm mind, because I really want it. And next time we talk, I want to have a calmer mind. So like, if I have another, you know, dramatic event like that, like driving, I want to be able to handle it and not be embarrassed about it, you know? So what can we do to sort of establish that routine kind of thing?
Sure. So the easiest way to start is just, you can even set a timer, and it's really good to start a small habit linked to something else. So I wake up in the morning, I, you know, maybe go to the restroom and get my cup of coffee, and then I'm going to sit down, turn my timer on for 5 minutes, light a candle, light a soft music that I like, and I'm just going to sit for a couple of minutes and breathe. And then when the timer goes off, whenever that time is done, that's whatever it was that day. If I was fidgety that day, I was fidgety. If I was chattery, I was chattery. You know, or the same thing, just before bed or just before dinner, or tie it to something. It helps to trigger that we get into a routine of actually doing it. If you don't do it, you don't get the benefit.
That makes sense. It's like an anchor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So So like a 5 minutes is okay to start with?
It's fine to start with a minute. Fine to start with 2 minutes. Fine to start with 8 minutes.
Okay,
Um, it it's kind of like brushing your teeth. You can't just brush your teeth once for 10 minutes and be done for the day. It's better to do it a little shorter and more often. But if you do 0 minutes, you get zero
right,
benefit.
right,
If you do 10 seconds, it's still better than 0 seconds. If
right,
you do 30 seconds, it's still better than 0 seconds. You know what I mean?
right.
So commit to a time and set up that time and do it consistently.
Okay,
It's more important to be consistent and do it than to say, I'm going to do 30 minutes every day, and then I don't do it. And
right.
then I think it's terrible, and then I hate myself for it. And then I tried that meditation thing, and it just doesn't work for me. Start with a minute.
Oh man, you got it all wrong. I would just blame you.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was like, this thing's stupid. Like Dr.
Yeah,
Martz gave me some stupid thing to do, and it should have
yeah.
done it.
There are other benefits that come. The longer you do it and in a time frame, and this is a much larger discussion, there's certain chemical changes that happen after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, after 30 minutes, etc. So doing it longer does have some other benefits, but it's more important to sit down and do it for a couple of minutes than to just not do any at all. Okay.
No,
So,
that's great. So, my hook, my anchor is that I have experienced that to some degree, like a calmer mind and being the just the mental benefits of that. And like you said, the awareness and being like, okay, I can be a better husband. I can be a
yeah,
better person to my clients. I can be just a better human being. And that gives me rewards, right? That is payback for all that, right? Or,
yeah,
so that's one. And the other one for me is the health part. Like, this could be, part of, as we age, like it's a great thing to age slower or to have, more faculties or to keep your faculties, to all those kinds of things are really important. So I guess the key is also just finding your own incentive, your own hook. And I think your module took me through that and made me aware of like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be a better spouse. I want to be, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of things really stuck out. And then when you clicked on the thing and all of a sudden, wow, I can see it. You know what I mean? Like I think my
yeah,
wife's up and I was like, whoa, like that, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? So I think that's very, I guess finding where your hook is important. And I have mine. So I'd
mhm,
like to come back like a week or two and just maybe pick up from here and see like, well, what's the next step? I mean, without getting too goal oriented, because I know that I'll destroy everything and my cholesterol won't go down, all that kind of stuff. So,
right, absolutely. So you got
okay,
it. So
great.
and just start and practice. Just start
Okay,
and practice.
I will. I'll give it short time, 5 minutes, and I won't make a big to do about it. I'll start it. So I appreciate your time. And I'm going to promote the book again, Manage My Emotions. Great book, great person, great teacher. He has a website, www.drkenmartz.com, right?
Yep.
Okay,
www.drkenmartz.com.
right, right. Okay, and I'll put that again in the show notes for anybody who wants to see that. And you have the meditation module, is that, or no, you have the meditation cadence or,
So if you go to the resources page from the website, there is a free click on it and it'll play a brief meditation, basically just me with the music guiding you through the practice. That one is, I believe, about 5 minutes long. So it's a great place to start. There are also, there's a full meditation CD as well, if you wanted to go that route. But the 5 minutes is a great place to start and build a practice.
great. That's great. So we'll be back again. And this is Mark from MakeTheMostOfMassage.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.